How long did it take you to get through the PTSD? And I ask because like you gave the scenario of the incident that happened, and then you gave the reference of it's not like it's not just a military thing, which those people are in for like years, where they get like years and years of the trauma. And you had this one night. How long did it take you to work through the PTSD of that event?
It took me about 3 to 4 years.
Wild.
Wow.
Until somebody like knock or ring when I wouldn't get started.
Right.
I would just react, and they start the doctor told me, whenever you hear that, don't panic. Just get up, go to the peephole, just say, I know who this is, I know who this is. Just keep saying that to yourself. And that's what I did, and I overcame.
I made it through the rough time. I made it through the tough time. I made it through the bad time. So now I gotta get mine.
Welcome to Bailey and Buck Unplugged, where we talk about sports, entertainment, and mental health in support of the Kennedy Kids Foundation. If you're struggling with mental health, we encourage you to speak up and get help. A great place to start is 988. That's the free crisis prevention lifeline. Or you can check out the resources tab at kennedykids.org. If you are in an absolute emergency, please dial 911. Either way, we want you to know that you are not alone and that you don't have to struggle, and speak up, get help. There are resources available to you, and we are here to support you. If you're new around here, I want to introduce you to our host. I am Missy Buck. I am an author and a mental health and performance coach. And my co-hosts are Robert Bailey. He is the president of Rosenhaus Sports, the president of Kennedy Kids Foundation. He's a 2-time Super Bowl champion, 2-time college national champion. He's an NFL record holder, and he's an ESPY winner. And we are also joined by Bailey Brooks Masburn. She is a celebrity wedding and event planner, a former NFL cheerleader, and the executive director of the Kennedy Kids Foundation.
All right, everyone, huge welcome today to our guest, Marvin Dixon. You have heard him live at the Improv, live on Def Comedy Jam, Comedy Zone, and of course, live on the radio as co-host of the Chubb Rock Show, James T. Morning Show, and one of my favorite stations, 99 Jams. And of course, I have to mention the iconic fly jock, Tom Joyner, my bestie, his show as well. So I have to tell you, when I first moved here from Canada, the very first comedy show I went to in Coral Gables, down South Florida, was hosted by Marvin Dixon. So welcome. Join me as we welcome hey, Marvin Dixon onto our show. So excited.
Appreciate you all having me.
We are so excited to have you. And as you know, this is a show about mental health, as the Kennedy Kids Foundation is a huge supporter of teen mental health and teen suicide prevention. So the very first question out the gate that I'd love to ask you, Mr. Dixon, is, can you describe a moment in your career, your comedy career, when you had to deal with mental health issues?
I was home invaded. Literally after a show, I came home one night and I was coming up to my porch and I heard some noise in the bush. And when I looked, I thought it was a dog or something, just a stray dog. So I stomped real hard, like trying to scare the dog, thought I was scaring the dog. But a guy jumped out the bushes with a gun. And when I jumped off my porch to run the other direction, another guy was with a gun. And it was the guy ran across the street. So they had me cornered no matter which way I would have ran. And they made me go in the house. I got pistol whipped, beat, tied up with duct tape. And from then on, I thought I was okay after the situation. But trying to be, Miami, we hard, trying to be that way. But I didn't realize till I talked to a psychologist that I had PTSD.
Wow.
Because every time somebody would knock at my door, ring my doorbell, I would jump.
Oh my gosh.
It's like I was like, anytime somebody come to my house and I didn't know unexpectedly, I would jump and would freeze for a minute before I would get up to respond. And I didn't know why my body was doing that till they told me, you have a condition, PTSD. Even though people think they get that during wartime, no, that happens in strange situations, scary situations, or frantic situations in your daily life. And so I had that a while. It took me a minute to cope, to get off of that. It took me a while. I didn't know what I had. It's like every time somebody knock on the door, boom, I jump and freeze. It's like I was in a frozen state.
Oh, wow.
Because of that. So I really had that situation. It took me a while to get over.
How long did it take you to get through the PTSD? And I ask because like you gave the scenario of the incident that happened, and then you gave the reference of it's not like it's not just a military thing, which those people are in for like years, where they get like years and years of the trauma. And you had this one night. How long did it take you to work through the PTSD of that event?
It took me about 3 to 4 years.
Wild.
Wow.
Until somebody like knock or ring when I wouldn't get started.
Right.
I would just react, and they start the doctor told me, whenever you hear that, don't panic. Just get up, go to the peephole, just say, I know who this is, I know who this is. Just keep saying that to yourself. And that's what I did, and I overcame it.
Wild. But 3 to 4 years is a long time for like
3 to 4 years.
That's wild. That really puts that into perspective. And I love that this is something that you brought to our attention and that you're sharing with us, because we've never actually discussed PTSD. And
Right.
I'm a former military vet. I served in the Canadian Armed Forces for 3.5 years. And PTSD is a real thing that not a lot of people talk about and do actually think is just associated with military personnel or
Right.
like first responders. So you're a comedian, talking about having PTSD, and that really puts that into perspective. I'm super sorry that happened to you as well. You gave me anxiety just listening to the story.
Yeah.
You thought I was a dog.
I used to be on the road in a hotel, and you know how like another comedian or something knock on the door, like, Mom, let's go. I would jump and get started.
Yeah.
Wow.
It take me a minute, and they'll keep, Mom, and I just shake it off, like not realize it, just go back to somebody coming, home invading.
Did it affect your work performance on stage at all?
No, the one thing about comedy, we take any of our tragedies in our life and we can write a routine on it.
Right.
And literally when I started doing that really got me over it quicker. Because at first I didn't say anything. And then I started writing jokes about it and brought humor to it. Because when something happens to someone else, we make a joke about it.
Right.
So we as comedians learn to write jokes about ourselves, tragedies of ourselves, hardship from ourselves, and we project that into a joke to make people laugh.
Right. Wow.
And I'm gonna tell you something else a lot you all might not know. And I found this out during that time. Comedians have the highest level of suicide in all professions.
Wow.
I did not know that.
Yeah, many don't know that. And the reason being is, you might know the mega name comedians, the big names, but there are a lot of brothers and sisters who don't have the big names that, commit suicide, that have committed. I know at least 6 comedians that committed suicide that I know.
Wow.
And the reason is, I found this out too. We always make people laugh. We always bring joy to people, but nobody's there to make us laugh.
Right.
And when we go to a friend about something serious, the first thing they say, man, get out my face, you tripping. They don't take you serious.
Yes, I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah, and so we don't have that. And I know several comedians that have committed suicide.
Wow.
Oh.
But that makes sense, because it's like even in the helping profession, it's like who helps the helpers, because you just think like this person that's my go-to person. That's my solid person for comedy or advice, whatever. Right. And you don't think that that's also a person who's going through their own experiences, because we all do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a stat that I was not aware of at all. And you think that the people who are laughing all the time are the people who are like the most joyful. And it's like, and I love how you said, when something happens to somebody else, we laugh at them, and comedians then write about their own stuff. And I never really thought that most of the comics work was about their own self. Like, cause I'm the first person to laugh if my friend falls, I'll help you, but my automatic response, and it's a negative thing about me that I say that it's a negative thing about my character, but I always laugh first, cause I'm always hiding like that. I'm fine and I'm happy and I'm joyful. So I laugh at everything, even if I fall. And so listening to you say that, and then thinking about it, like it really does put that into perspective with who's on stage. And then you got to perform in front of people and hope that the joke lands, and then that as well.
And a lot of them, if you see a lot of entertainers have obsessive drug use, and that really is to suppress pain that they're going through.
Right.
A lot of them, people don't realize that in this world of entertainment, we are constantly making people laugh. It's in comedy. A singer constantly performing to entertain people. Dancers do it. As you keep doing this day in, day out, literally, that's why I say, like a lot of my peers, I've seen get stuck on drugs. Like me, myself, I've never got high in my life. Meaning I never smoked any marijuana, nothing. I never smoked cigarette, never smoked the hookah. Nothing. I just never done that. And any drink, and I might drink a light beer, while I'm on stage, or red wine. I don't go beyond that. And the reason why I've seen so many of my peers get strung out some kind of substance, whether drug or alcohol, and I know they're suppressing some kind of pain.
Right.
I know what they're going through. I know, and being a comedian, what they're going through. And I'm a comic. I've had many comedians call me up when they're going through situations or circumstances and be saying, man, Marv, telling me their family situation, whatever, and I help them out. Whether it's financially, whether it's just to sit and talk to them, whether it's sit there and just listen. Because that moment, I got a good friend. Matter of fact, I spoke to her last night. She was going through a very depressed state. And she said, man, I'm tired of this. I'm about to quit comedy, man. I'm just going to get me a job. I'm just tired of the hatred towards this. And then I said, no, you got a blessed talent. Don't stop. And I always tell them this. Sometimes the man above tests us to see if we go pass the test.
Right.
And see, because if you pass that test, I mean, you're ready for the blessings that's going to come to you. And you can accept the blessings. Some people can't handle the blessings. Do you know, and maybe a month and a half later, she got put on a syndicated talk show.
Wow.
What? And she always tell people, because Marvin Dixon was the one that told me not to stop this. She said, I was going to quit comedy. I was done with it. But just talking to him, he ended up, told me my blessings don't come, and look what ended up, I'm on this talk show.
Wow, I got head to toe chills right now. I'm not even lying.
Well, I was just going to suggest too, like because I thought the conversation happened last night about quitting, but realizing it didn't. But if you ever have a situation with people like that, there's this book, I just looked it up to Sharon Lecter and Greg S. Reed, but it's called 3 Feet from Gold, turning your obstacles into opportunities. But they always talk about how most of the people who quit literally quit, and they're literally 3 feet
before,
from right before it's about to hit, because that's the hardest time. And so I was going to be like, hey man, you got to send her this book, because I Amazon it to tons of people every time they talk to me and say, hey, I feel like I'm going to quit. I want to quit. And I'm like, no, probably when it's about to break, this is the point where you don't quit.
Right.
I always say, I believe we get tested.
Yes.
Let me see if you can handle these obstacles. You know what? Now you can appreciate these blessings that's going to come upon you. That's why I never get upset. I've never hated on another comedian that got huge success. And I always learn this. You can tell who they truly are when they receive the success or receive the financial abundance. Because all money do is enhance who you really are.
Right.
Highlight. Yeah.
If you are a butthead, it makes you a bigger butthead.
Right.
If you're a giving person, it makes you more giving.
Right.
And that's all to do it. Like I use Kevin Hart as an example. I knew Kevin really before he blew up.
Right.
Kevin blew up, was the biggest comic in the world. Kevin came to me, called me up out the blue to speak to me. Hey man, I'm doing this. I'm getting ready to start hosting this show on BET, and I want you on it. He called me, not the people from BET.
Right.
Wow.
Kevin could have said, I'm not calling nobody. Y'all do that. Somebody handle that. But Kevin said, I'm going to call people who I believe deserve a break.
Right.
And somebody who did that, a lot of people don't know in comedy, that's why my favorite comic is Red Fox. Ooh. Red Fox was the first comedian. When he got a sitcom, NBC said, okay, we're going to shoot this pilot, Sanford and Son, and we got the people, we're going to play this part, this. And he said, no, I don't want to do it. And they said, why? What are you talking about? He said, because I know some comedians that then bust their butt day in, day out on this road and deserve a break. And I believe they can play these roles. And that's when he got LaWanda Page to play Ernesta. He got Whitman Mayo to play Grady. He got Leroy Skillet, the comedy duo team. That was his friends that came over all the time. He had, I forgot the man, his real name, but the one that played Bubba. He brought all the men. Only one that had the cast really was Lamont.
Right.
That's the only person that had to come because he got everybody else. He said these brothers deserve a break.
He looked out for everyone.
He looked out for everybody. And LaWanda Page said, I didn't believe he was going to quit, not take it unless we got a break.
Oh, that's great.
And some people don't realize As long as you help others be successful, you will always be successful.
Right.
That's just the nature. Some people they don't want nobody. I always say this. A lot of people say this. I want to see you do good. I want to see you make it. They say that until they see you get better than them.
Right.
They don't like you no more. Or they're in a position to help you out, but they don't want you because they're scared you're going to take their place.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's sad. It's sad. I know comedians who, like me, I host a room every month in Tallahassee. I'm the only Black person in the Southeast United States to have a residency in a casino. I do the casino in Dania Beach. I've been doing that. I'm going on 9 years now.
Wow.
If I can't be there to host one of them shows, I get a brother who I feel is funny, if not funnier than me, to host.
Right.
Because I'm not scared that somebody gonna take my place.
Right.
And I put that brother or that sister in a position so they can shine. Because I book comics. When I signed a deal with them, my deal was this. I get to bring who I want to bring. I want to bring the funniest comedians. I don't want to bring the most famous comedians.
Right.
Because famous sometimes they become their show. They tell me who can be on it, who can't be on it. Who they don't want to do this, who they want to do that. So I say, look, I call people, hey, you want to do this show? I got you. I'm going to pay you XYZ, hotel, flight. And they be like, hey, man, thank you, Marvin, man. I appreciate it. No, you deserve this break because you've been ripping it around the country. I need South Florida to see.
Right.
And so that's my way of thinking and stuff like that. And like I said, every comic got something they went through. And this is when you find out the true strength of a comedian, I should say, when pandemic hit. Because the world shut down.
Yeah.
Right.
And
We
then
didn't know when it was going to open back up. The
Yeah.
world shut down.
yeah.
You didn't know when comedy entertainment was going to ever open back up. And you learned then, like, man, how I'm going to survive this. Because remember, that was over 2 years of no shows.
Right.
Oh yeah, it was. My main business is in event planning. I was the first to be closed down and the first to open. I rescheduled 20 weddings 3 times each that each had at least 12 to 15 vendors attached to it. So trying to
Oh my
find a
God.
date, having to go back to the family and all the vendors and the venue having availability like 3 times each for years. Because at first we thought, oh, just 3 months. Okay, let's try 6 months. Okay, let's try. And then we were just like, oh my God, we don't know. And some of my couples like just eloped and said, F it, we're going to just screw it. And we're done, And I
Right.
get that. So for comedians, I
Hey,
feel like,
baby,
yeah.
I'm
Because
going to ask you one question.
go
I'm going to
ahead.
ask you one question, baby.
Yeah.
You didn't want to get them deposits back, did you?
That's
I didn't have to. I didn't have to. I was. No, of course not. Damn it, that's a dumb question. Of course not. I worked for them. I rescheduled them. But let me tell you something. I replanned each wedding 3 times
good.
over. So I also, my contract didn't allow me to get any more money. I couldn't charge them any additional fees. And now instead of just having them on my books for 12 to 18 months, I had them on my books for like 3 years.
right.
Talking to them all the time on Zoom.
You deserve that deposit.
I deserved
I worked for that.
Well, with me, every deposit that I got during that time, every promoter would tell you I made up on them dates. Every single deposit. I say, whenever you're ready to do. Now, don't get me wrong, 3 of them I sent the money back
Yeah.
because they wanted their money back, and I sent it back. And
Right.
most comedians, I ain't get nobody their deposit back. Forget that. And some people didn't make up on them dates. I did.
Oh,
Right.
yeah, me too. I fulfilled every commitment. You can ask Robert. I fulfill every commitment. If I say I'm doing something, I'm doing it. I don't
I'm
care
the
about
same way.
Yeah. So
And
during that whole period for comedians, and this is a question that I've always wanted. I saw a lot of people get a ton of shows and specials on Netflix because of the amount of content that's now being consumed by us because we're home all the time now and we're binge watching everything. And I feel like there's so many more comedians getting opportunities for a Netflix special of sorts because of COVID.
you know what? There are so many more comedians that I feel. This is the only thing I say about comedy. I think there are more people that deserve specials.
Yes.
And I'm gonna say the reason I say that is you look at they're doing some of the same people repeatedly.
Oh my God. It's like 15 to 20
Yeah.
people that are just rotating.
right?
Yeah, but it's the same one. Okay, he got a special. Next month, 8 months later, they gave him another special.
Yeah.
Next time, another special. But you didn't give this person one special.
Right.
Mhm.
There are a lot of comedians that deserve a break. That's why I pray I could never be in a position. I wish Netflix would, and I'm a stand-up comic and I'm a headliner. I don't even ask for a special. I wish Netflix will hire me to get people that would deserve specials, because I know the comics that deserve specials. I know who deserves specials. I've been doing this too long. I book these people day in, day out, and they always just say, oh, this person been on movies, so Netflix might feel like we don't got to promote hard for him or her. But that's the key, is promoting. Promote them and market them. I bet you will get a lot of feedback, because people be like, if they see a big name, and I'm just going to use a name that somebody not doing comedy no more, Eddie Murphy. Let's say they gave Eddie Murphy a special. Yeah, everybody going to run to see Eddie Murphy. But it's another comic, like one comic I know, say Double D, Damon Williams, Henry Welch. Give them a special and watch what they do in their special, because there's no pressure on them. When you watch, if you go see Eddie Murphy right now, if he did a special right now, the world gonna tune in to see if he's funny still.
Yeah.
And that's so much pressure on him. But you got funny people that the pressure not gonna be on them, because they're not that known, but they're just as funny. They're just as funny. I always said this. If you took, well, they say why there's no more Def Jam, BET, and all that platform for comedians. I say, because I think the mistake the networks keep making, they keep getting people that aren't hungry anymore. When Def Jam was successful, who was the host? Martin Lawrence.
Mhm.
He was hungry. He was a seasoned comedian that was hungry as hell, and he was funny week in, week out doing that. When you look at BET, the comics that was hosting it was funny as hell. They was hungry as hell. When they bring them shows back, they go get big and mega names who aren't hungry anymore. You can't tell somebody got $30 million in their account, I need you to host this show. They're not hungry no more. They got 30 million. They got 50 million. They got 100 million. They're not hungry. But you get a comic that's hungry, he gonna be funny every time he go out that mic, because he's hungry. Like Martin was on BET. Like when Don D.C. Curry hosts, when Samoa hosts BET. When all them people first hosted, you didn't know who they were until they host Comic View Day, because they was hungry. And that's why I say you should, that's the remedy of getting a successful show.
That totally makes sense, because when you're like chasing a goal, you won't eat, you won't sleep, you won't go out with your friends, you won't spend that money, whatever the goal is. And then when you get there, I think sometimes people forget what it took for them to get there, so that they want to stay there and be as good, or it's just they feel like they can coast at this point on their laurels. And I feel like some of the big names who should not be mentioned because you're friends with them, I feel like some of the work is not as funny anymore as it was originally when they were chasing the goal. Like, because I consume a lot of comedy. It's one of my favorite things to do. I'm going to the comedy showcase on Saturday, actually with Tom Joyner, because we are actually besties. So we're going on Saturday to the showcase at Hard Rock Live. But it literally it's so different. It's with the exclusion of Dave Chappelle, because I think all his stuff is funny because it's super smart. But like I feel like a lot of people,
No, hey, let me tell you, Dave Chappelle. I'm gonna pick these three.
Okay,
Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock, and Kevin Hart. You know one thing they never stop doing?
What?
They go to comedy clubs week in, week out, and work out their material.
Really?
It's what they do. They work out their material. See, a lot of the comics, you don't see them never like work out because they're not hungry no more. They never work out. But Dave, Chris, and I was in LA. In LA, in the Comedy Store one night, not the Comedy Store, but the night they had chocolate sundaes. I was doing that, and all of a sudden,
what is that?
Chris Rock, yes, that's the night all the urban comics book, chocolate sundaes.
Love it.
Okay.
They say, "Hey, Marv, I'm supposed to close." Hey, man, Chris Rock just walked in. He want to go up before. Go be my guest.
Yeah, you don't say no to that.
Yeah.
Be my guest, because I know they would love to see Chris Rock.
Yes.
And he went up and the promoter said, hey man, if you want, you don't have to go up after him. We'll bring you up the next show. You just close. I said, no, I want to go right behind.
I want to follow him. Wow.
I wanted to go right behind.
Yeah,
Right.
I would.
And I tell people that I've been shows where Damon Wayans walked in.
Mm.
Damon want to go up and do about 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
Be my guest.
Right.
I did a show. What's the Mexican comedian?
Ian
had his
Iglesias?
No,
One?
not. Now I'm gonna tell you about Fluffy. A story about Fluffy.
Oh, yes.
Fluffy.
Fluffy. I was to the Hard Rock Improv every Thursday night. My show would be 10 o'clock, but the week, whoever the week comic was, would come in at 8. Fluffy was the comic that whole week. Fluffy came in. This one he was big. When they travel like that, doing comedy clubs, they're getting ready to do a special, so they're working out material.
Right.
So Fluffy's supposed to start at 7:30 and end by 9:15 because my show was at 10 o'clock. Fluffy stayed on stage all the way until 11 something.
Wow.
And my people still out there for my show.
Yeah.
That means my show not going to start till midnight on a Thursday.
Right.
Oh my, that
got
sounds
35
expensive for the people in the crowd ordering all them drinks, sitting there like waiting and
I
waiting.
feel like they really got their money's worth because I was
I mean that
till
too.
it was over. Yeah.
That's
But let me tell you what Fluffy did. He came to the green room. He apologized. Marvin, I'm so sorry. I just got caught up. It was just so much fun up there. And I said, hey, man, it is what it is. Don't get me wrong. I was upset because I'm thinking my crowd, which was almost 400 people, sold out.
Right.
Until midnight show. Some of them started asking for their money back.
Wow.
Fluffy came to me and said, man, I apologize, man. He said, let me talk to you. He pulled me aside and said, here you go, man. Please accept my sincerest apology. I opened up my hand. It was $2,500.
What?
For him going over. I say, you want to go up on this show?
You want to do it again?
You want to do it again? Run it back. Let's run it back.
We can
Run
do
it
these
back.
all week. You want to do them every day? I'll just show up, sit in the green room,
damn.
bring me off.
But he was
Good job, Fluff.
He was the only comic ever did that. He gave me $2,500 because he said, I know some people left out your crowd.
Right.
Leave, but I hope this make up and you accept my apology. I said, do you want to go up again? Please, by all means.
What-
So he's one of the great ones. I always say this, and I didn't know he was big as he was.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know
Right.
the man sold out Dodger Stadium.
Yeah.
Oh, wild.
That was a really long
So-
special.
He did Dodger Stadium, multiple shows,
Wow.
and sold out.
Right.
Then I thought one thing, hell, I should have got $25,000 for $2,500.
Yeah.
That's a little chump change. Love it.
Marvin, do you think that like you hear a lot about, as I mentioned earlier, the performers, stepping out in front of a crowd of hundreds of thousands of people and then going back to their dressing room or their hotel and then being alone. They say there's a there's a depression that happens from doing that for so much, right? Everybody pulling on you. Then you go and you're by yourself. Some people accept it and love it because they like they like being alone. But then some people, it really affects them. How does that scenario for you work? Where a lot of nights you're in front of a lot of people and then you find yourself alone.
Well, many that say they like being alone sometimes usually have family,
Right.
a wife, kids, or something. So they're around family. They love spending time with family. Like me, I'm single. When I'm alone, I'm alone.
Right.
And I think my darkest moment in this, when it was right at the cusp, the end of the pandemic. The pandemic is, so we hadn't been working, and I had a severe injury. I don't know if you noticed. I was repairing something inside my place, and I lived at that time in an industrial style loft. So my ceilings was like 20-some feet high, and I had a friend of mine who's a contractor. He brought his ladder in the house so I could repair my ceiling fan. He set it up and then he would leave and they always come back and get it. But this time he left the old ladder, which was his grandfather's ladder, who was a contractor. And it's the old wooden and metal ladder, which weighed about 160 something, that's 170 pounds. That's how much the ladder weighed. And when I fixed the ceiling fan and step, I missed the step and it fell down and I crushed my finger. Oh. So the doctors told me it was going to be at least 3.5 to 5 years so I could walk with no assistance.
Dang.
Like meaning no cane or nothing. And within 6 months, I was walking with no assistance. Like I started walking with no assistance. Like I would limp real bad, but I kept doing it until I forced myself to start walking straight.
Yeah.
Right.
And at that time, you talking about the pandemic, and you're talking about really people can't travel, and I couldn't move out of bed. I couldn't walk.
Right.
So that was another time. No one always take that as it was a test. Okay, you passed the home invasion, and you got over there. Let me see if you could get over this.
Right.
And because now you're in the house by yourself, you can't walk. Now I had caregivers who come in at 10 in the morning. She leave at 7. So she'll set some food up for me. I couldn't. I mean, I said I couldn't walk. I couldn't walk. I couldn't even walk with a walker then.
Wow.
And till I got better, I forced myself to start walking around the bed. And one time I fell, but I was able to pull myself up on the bed.
Oh God.
Right.
That's why I walked around the edge of the bed, just along the edge. And when I fell with the walker, I got up, pushed myself up, and laid down. Took my little pills because that pain was excruciating. And then wait till in the morning, like every day, and I only did it when it's so funny and crazy. I did it when the caregiver left. I never did it when she was there. I always tried to walk by myself with nobody around because I said I wanted to force myself and nobody hold me or nothing. And that's what I ended up doing. So at that dark time, I didn't want to be by myself.
Yeah.
At that dark time. And you know what you do though? You find out who your friends really are.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you that actually. I wanted to ask you about that because you're saying how you're so supportive of people, it sounds like. So I'm glad you're bringing this up because I want to know who's supporting you.
I found 2 comedian friends that I found out like my brothers during that time. One of them would say, hey, Ma, I would go host whatever comedy clubs you got. If the club owner, the promoter, cool, we check your place, I'll go take your place for you. And just let them know they're okay with it. And I was on a tour called the Southern Soul Tour, which was the biggest and first tour of its kind. Never been a Southern Soul Tour until I did it.
Right.
And when we did the Southern Soul Tour, I'm the only comic, and then you got the Southern Soul artists, like the blues artists singing. I had a comic call me and say, man, I just found out what happened to you. You still doing that tour? And I said, yeah, man, but I can't do the rest of the dates. It was a blank area of dates and months. He said, ask the promoter if he want, man, I will come and host for you. Just tell him to take care of my room and my travel to get there. And whatever the other half of your money is, man, I'll bring it back to you because I know you got to survive.
Wow.
He gave me all his free dates and said, I can come do these dates for you.
Wow.
He literally said, he called me up. He called me up. He said, man, you're a good dude and you looked out for a lot of people.
Right.
And I'm going to look out. I'm going to look out for you. I will go host whatever your balance is. Tell him to give it to me. I send it to you. I cash app it to you, Zelle it to you. However you want. And that's what happened. And the other comic, he would drive to shows and host other spots that I had to host and did the events for him. And then he'd come by my house at the end. Hey, Ma, here go your money.
Wow.
You just give me whatever, man. Just give me a little something for just going. And wasn't that major, like $200-300? Just, you got to pay your bills, man.
Yeah.
You got a mortgage, you got car notes, you got light bills, you got caregivers to pay for. And that's when I found out. Now I found out who my friends were.
Right.
I had a young lady that was cool with me. Back in the days, she had nowhere to stay. And I had let her stay with me, no strings attached, for maybe 6 months till she got on her feet. Her car was getting repossessed. I gave her the money to help her with her car. Now she lives not too far from where I live. She knew what happened. She called me. and was talking about, she said, hey, if you're hungry, I could bring you something to eat. I'm making some food. I'll bring it by your house. She said, 10 minutes from me. She said, I'll be there at 3. She never came. I called by 4:30. She said, I got tied up. I'm on my way. Didn't come. The caregiver said, hey, you want me to leave the door open or something? I said, you still coming? She said, yeah, I'll be there. I'm sorry. I'm on my way. She never came.
Wow.
My door open at all. Never came. And didn't talk to her no more. No more until I started walking again. And I was doing the show. And she heard it on the radio and called me and asked me, could I give her some tickets?
Oh my God.
What did you tell her?
What
What did you tell her?
And left her nothing at will call.
I think you got the nerve to call me. And she said, I knew you was going to bring that up. I'm so sorry. And she said, I'm sorry that happened, but I got tied up and I didn't know how to tell you. I said, okay. She said, but you don't be able to do it. I said, no, because you know what you did? You showed me something. She said, what? You showed me I was your friend, but you weren't mine.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pleased you opened my eyes to that.
When people show you who they are, believe them.
And I did say this to her. I did say this. I'm not going to go off on you about it. That you are who you are.
Yep.
I'm not going to trip. And I'm not going to send you up on a ghost run. No, I'm not giving you no tickets. And that's just what it was.
Yep.
Wow.
I think
Yep. I think people have to learn to draw their boundaries when they learn how people actually show up in their lives. And it's through these moments, like, right, guys, like yesterday we talked about like the incidents that happen in your life that become lessons. We think they're traumatic.
Right.
They really become lessons for us, and they really become very revealing. And at some point you have to be grateful for what they reveal so that you can really move forward with who you want to be and what you want to surround yourself with. Cause now you know, versus I think so, you know?
Right.
And she showed me who she was. And she's told me since trying to apologize. I said, right now, I'm good. I'm walking good. I'm working great. And I said, you don't owe me no apology. You are who you are. Don't apologize to who you are. That's all I told her. Don't apologize to who you are.
So my husband gave me a little tidbit about apologies the other day that I can't get rid of in my head. And he said, when people apologize to you, you can accept the apology, but that doesn't mean that they have the same level of access to you that they had prior to the incident.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Stuck to me like glue, like stuck to me. I was like, you know what? That's correct.
That is true.
That is correct. That is correct.
When you say I forgive you, that doesn't mean that moving forward, you have the same access. I forgive you for what you've done, but you've opened my eyes, and now I'm going to move forward with a little bit of a warning sign.
Yeah.
Well, and they say too that the forgiveness is more for you anyway.
Yeah.
Right. So that you're not holding on to that hate and anger. Like you just get rid of that. It doesn't mean that like you said, they have full access to you. It's really to benefit you anyway.
Yeah. So
Go
ahead, Robert.
Marvin, I got a question. When I was a young man growing up, I remember playing football and trying to fit into different groups. And one of the ways I was fit in with different guys is I would be funny. They call you the class clown in like middle school or elementary. And the teachers just didn't realize that I was really just trying to fit in. Or maybe it's a bully and I would make the bully laugh and then the bully would leave you alone. What was the scenario for you in terms of how you got into comedy, or when you were young, what type of, upbringing did you have that led to comedy?
I was always, I think I got my comedy DNA from my grandmother.
Okay.
She used to always say funny stuff. And I would realize what she said and be like, well, and I would always question her. She just be laughing and say, well, get around me. She would always say that.
Right.
But one scenario, I remember my grandparents owned a restaurant in Hollandale, Florida. And it's a landmark and stuff there. So one day outside the restaurant, these girls, Hollandale High School is across the street. So this girl was fighting this other girl right behind the restaurant. And my grandmother went out there and said, y'all stop there, because everybody knew my grandmother. Everybody knew Miss Maureen. She brought, y'all stop that fighting. She fussed at the boys. Why y'all letting them fight and not breaking it up? So when she pushed the girls apart, I remember one girl, she looked kind of rough. And I met another girl. She was I'm gonna say she was cute, like wavy. She was kind of dark skin, but she had very wavy hair. And I remember that. And I remember my grandmother pulled them apart, and the boy, she gonna look at the girl to myself. Now you know you're too cute to out here you too cute to be out here fighting.
Right.
And didn't say nothing to the other girl. So I told my grandma, what you mean she too cute to be fighting? So you mean the other one was supposed to be fighting? And my grandma, she's saying, well, get out of my face. Well, I'm just saying, why you didn't tell both of them that you cute to be fighting?
Right.
So, now you know you too cute to be out here fighting. The crazy part, she was winning. That's what was winning the fight. So I used to ask my grandmother like stuff she would say, crazy stuff. And what, like growing up, I was a little skinny kid with glasses, thick glasses. And that was the only thing they could say about me. Oh, skinny, them big old glasses, them thick glasses. So to defend myself was, as we said in Miami, ranking.
Right. Yeah.
I can go back and forth with the best of them, but I would always find something that was defective on them, some kind of problem they had, and I would find that somebody didn't know and then exploit it.
Yeah.
And the crowd would start laughing, but they wouldn't let them fight me because they said, what you mad at? That man, you ranked on him first, he got you back. And they so I got better at it. That means if he had, like one guy, I remember, his sister was cross-eyed. You know,
Here we go.
growing up, you don't see cross-eyed kids no more because I guess they fix their eyes when they little. But when we was growing up, he was cross-eyed, he was stuck. And his sister was cross-eyed, and he said something about my mom. I said, what about your sister? She's so cross-eyed, she dropped the dime and picked up 2 nickels. And everybody started laughing.
Right.
And he wanted to fight me. And they said, what you getting mad at him for? Man, you talking about my sister. You talking about his mom. So I just got better, and that transformed to in a restaurant. I used to joke with the older men like 60 and 70. I had the gift at 15, 16, 17 to make them laugh.
Right.
So I'm making older men that could be my grandfather laugh. So I knew I had the gift like that, but I didn't realize until a friend of mine took me to a comedy open mic night, and they signed me up in the contest and didn't know it. I'm sitting there, they say the first comic, bam, the second comic, bam. They only had 3 open micers. And they say, this last one, this is first time on stage. Give it up for Marvin Dixon. I look and say, somebody got the same name as me.
Your boy set you up.
They grabbed me and threw me on the stage, and I went off my head. And my friend said, the reason I did that, because instinctively you could come up with jokes fast.
Right.
If you sat and wrote and prepared it, you would have went up there and choked.
Right.
And he wasn't lying. And so that's what I just kept doing. And within a few months, the club owner told the promoter, you need to find that guy, that boy with them glasses, to come up here and be your host.
Right.
And that's how I got me started in comedy. And I got better and better.
Basically, what you're saying is your start was because you were bullied as a skinny kid with thick glasses.
I was bullied.
Practiced.
That was my point. That was my point. Most kids that get into comedy or being funny is because they want to be accepted, and they want everybody to like them, and they want to distract the bullies, right? So the bullies start liking them too, because laughter brings everybody together.
Right.
Right. So
Or get you punched in the face. We don't know.
yeah, but
Depending on what you say.
Still, everybody loves you. You may get punched in the face, but somebody gonna take up for you because you made them laugh.
And that's what happened. The other guys wouldn't let the other guy fight me because he said, you started it.
Yeah.
You're not gonna mess with that, man. You started it. And I just got better and better and better at it.
Right.
Then I learned about comedy. At first, you don't know. Only thing, most Black comedians that grew up in the inner city, first 2 things they talked about is either sex and roaches. That's all. Those are topics you know. Sex and roaches.
Yeah.
Sex and roaches?
That sounds like the name of a book or something. Like, what is that? Or your next comedy tour?
Roaches. Everybody in the hood talks about roaches in somebody's house.
Yeah, roaches and sex.
Yeah.
I was raised in Canada, so this is news for me.
Yeah.
Like
The
what?
roaches, because in every city in the hood, you had roaches in your house.
Yeah.
Everybody had roaches.
Well, South Florida, mainly South Florida or Florida.
New York,
Yeah.
definitely.
New York, they got rats.
Yeah, New York
They got
got rats,
roaches
but
too, though.
in Florida, we have those Florida roaches. I forgot what
Yeah,
they
those
call
big-
them, Mark.
Palmetto
Florida.
bug.
Yeah, there you
You
go.
like this?
And that's why they're always talked about in
Said,
Florida.
what?
Those are that's my biggest fear in the world, by the way.
Oh, I almost died from a palmetto bug once. So when I was visiting from Canada, I left the house and I went to cross the street to the gas station to go buy some candy. And I had passed under a tree and something fell on the back of my neck, right?
Oh,
And
God.
so I'm walking, I have to cross like a 6-lane highway, 3 in each direction, right? And I'm walking to cross the street and I keep feeling something. I keep tapping myself. And then all of a sudden it comes out on my hand and I start flailing around in the middle of 6 lanes, screaming like a crazy person. And my mom comes hauling ass after me to snatch me out of the road. And she knew like the bug, like I was going to die.
Yeah.
Death by palmetto bug, vehicular style. Like,
Yeah.
See,
I would have taken a 24-hour shower after that. Like I can't.
let me explain something to you all. We didn't do all that. Robert, no. We see a roach, we knock it off, a step on the kill it, and keep going on about
kill
our
it.
day.
Yeah.
And keep on going on about our day.
my
Next-
PTSD is from bugs.
And Florida has those roaches that fly.
Yeah,
And they-
they fly.
Oh yeah, they fly and then they bite you. So
Yep.
it's another level of roach jokes when you're in Florida. 'Cause I've been to LA, I didn't see no roaches in LA, and like New
Yeah.
York. Like I don't know if they scared of they don't like the cold but Florida for some reason is gnats and roaches.
Yeah.
Oh, the gnats.
Yeah,
And
gnats.
lizards. And lizards, by the way, like big giant ones.
And in comedy, and during comedy, you talk about what you know.
Right.
And you try to gravitate that to the audience on a level they can understand.
Right.
Since my first show was in Carol City, I went to Carol City, and the people in the audience in Carol City, it worked because I just knew. And then as you get seasoned in this, you start writing, creating material, thinking of topics, subjects, punchline.
Right.
That's later you start learning really the relatively of comedy. You start learning comedy then. At first you just go into being funny.
Right.
Then you learn to be a comedian. You
Right.
start learning. Then you start looking at, you got to read your audience. I didn't went out there and seen comics say something in the audience. I think the scariest show I ever did was in Vancouver, British Columbia, in Canada.
Yep.
And
Bailey.
it was about 700 people in that audience. And the 2 comics opening for me were Asian. So they went up there, one of them straight bombed.
Right.
The next one, he bombed worse than him. Then I look around the corner, I say, damn, what? Because the way we come through the back, we sit in the green room, so I don't see the audience. I walked down to the side when the second one was bombing and look. Now that's when I got scared. You're always nervous, but I say scared. I
Right.
looked at the whole audience, out of about 700 people, at least 500 of them was Asian.
Wow.
And maybe you had maybe 100 black and 100 white.
Right. So you got to relate. You got to somehow relate.
But I'm thinking the Asian comics, they bombed in front of their people.
Yeah.
And they're in front of their people.
Yeah.
I'm scared as hell till a comic told me, the host say, Marl, you're gonna do great. That's why I booked you. I said, man, they bombed. He said, no, they gonna understand your jokes. What you do is talk slower, just talk, go 1 level or 2 levels slower than you normally talk and watch. And I got a standing ovation.
Wow.
He said, just slow down, because I talk fast on stage. Anybody else could see me, see I talk fast, but he said, slow down and watch.
What
And I
year
gotta
was
stand
this?
up. This is about maybe 12 years ago
Okay. So
when that happened.
I asked for the reference because I don't know if you guys know, like how the railroad was built in Canada. It was built using like a different version of a slave trade, let's call it. And
Yeah,
so
Asian, yeah,
Asians
Chinese.
so they end up in British Columbia because it goes that direction. And so the families and everybody ends up in that area. And so that's a whole different culture, but it's a huge culture in Canada. And then the Black population, we're small, but we know each other. Like we're all connected. And no one lives, no hoods for it and whatnot and whatnot. But what we obsess on in Canada is American performers, like American people. When celebrities come over and they come visit, we're consuming so much American information and entertainment in Canada because we don't get a lot. There's not a lot of celebs, local celebs. Nobody follows local stuff. So local stuff always does worse than the American stuff does. It's
right.
Yeah. That might be why they didn't do good, because they straight ate it.
Yeah.
I didn't understand it. I said, man, that's what made me scared. I was like, they didn't laugh at them and they Asian.
Right.
Yeah.
Speaking of bombing, what was your worst bombing? Because every Asian's bombed at some point. What was your worst time?
Well, you might not have a set that good, but Robert, I swear to you, I've never been booed.
Wow, that's great.
By the grace of God, I haven't been booed.
That's awesome.
And don't let it happen. Now it's too late. I'm too far in it now.
Right, you're too far.
But no, you have a set that you're not pleased with.
Right.
You might start off slow because you misread the crowd, or you went on stage confused, because we've all done that. I would say I'm gonna start off this way, but instead of starting the way I knew I was projected to start, I started a different way. But I ended up getting to the way I wanted to start, and then I would kill and rip. Now I know the most embarrassing I was on stage. You know Monique.
Yeah.
The Academy Award winner, comedian Monique. Monique had a comedy club in Baltimore, Monique's House of Comedy.
Right.
Her and her brother. And I was doing that show. It was during like New Year's Eve. And it's sold out. So I'm up there, I'm killing. So back in the days, I did a routine, you might know, Rob. I don't know if you ladies know. I did a routine on Def Jam where I stripped.
Yeah, I remember that.
I used to strip down to a thong.
Right.
So,
I don't think I missed this one, but
Yes, I missed this one.
I'm about to Google this.
Yeah,
I've been to a few of your shows.
Yeah, I was simulating what the strippers did in Miami.
Right.
So that's where I got the idea from. Miami big on strip clubs, so that's what I used to take on stage.
Yeah.
So I did it, and I did it on Def Jam. So this time it's packed, and they coming in and see me. And it got to the part, the finale, where I do a strip thing. And what I do, I take off layers of clothing. First, I take off my shirt and stuff. Like I was shorts with no shirt, do a slow song whining. Then I pull down my shorts, and then I got this little ruffle thing on, and like a Jamaican woman. And then I got on bikini briefs, and I snatched the briefs off and played loop. You know, working out now. And then I wanted to pull the thong. I mean, when I pulled the briefs out, my thong is supposed to be on, but a string got caught up in my thong. And so when I snatched it, everything came back.
God. I knew this was coming. I had a feeling. Wardrobe
everything came down. So Monique was to the side. I'm dancing, and my back to the audience. Monique saying, "Yo, she reaching down, grabbing her crouch. Your thing out. I looked around and said, what? I looked down. Man, I snatched everything. Everybody was rolling.
That's hilarious.
The whole place was falling out laughing.
Yeah.
The whole place. Because I didn't know.
Right.
I done done that routine 30, 40 times. Nothing happened.
That's epic moment.
Like Janet Jackson.
That one time where my dick was out.
I had a wardrobe malfunction.
Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Oh, that was great. I knew that was coming. The minute he said he was rolling down to his brief, I was like, watch, he's going to say
embarrassing moment.
But it's the fact that there were so many people like laughing, like falling off their chairs. Like you said, that kind of helped you recover from it being so embarrassing in the moment, because you're like, the crowd's like into it.
And I remember I grabbed the mic because Monique said, come back out here, mother. I said, y'all say what y'all want. I don't see no ladies. I see y'all ladies were laughing because of the comedy, but y'all weren't laughing because it's dick small and everybody.
Way to flip it, Marvin. Way to flip it. Oh,
I was waiting. I didn't want to ask. I was like,
no, Monique said it. Did y'all see that? Did y'all see it? And she kept saying, and it was on site. Everybody was still laughing. So it It was embarrassing, but it ended up being funny as hell.
That's a great moment, man.
That's awesome.
It ended up being funny.
That's a
But
great
that was the
moment.
most embarrassing.
That's awesome.
At this stage of your career, how far do you want to go? Really, you've been a guy that's been in this game for decades, man.
Yeah.
What is your ultimate goal, Marv? Is it to be a Hollywood star? Is it, what is it? What do you ultimately want to get out of this long career that you had? What do you see at the end?
If what I want to do and what I'm trying to get to, I want to be, people always say, if you could pick somebody in Hollywood to career-wise, who would you want to simulate, who would it be? People trip when I say this. Dick Wolf.
Wow. Why Dick?
Yeah, if you know who Dick Wolf is, that's the man who did Law and Order, Order SVU, Chicago PD, Chicago.
Yeah. So you want to get into to TV and movies?
Yes, but the reason I say Dick Wolf, the main reason I said that.
He's the executive producer, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
He created all them shows.
Wow.
Dick Wolf can go anywhere. You don't know who the hell he is.
Yep.
Right.
100%.
But he got a lot of money.
Yeah.
I want to be able to go wherever I want to go, enjoy life to the fullest with a lot of money, but stay under the radar of who I am.
Right.
Because Kevin Hart can't go anywhere. Eddie Murphy can't just go anywhere. Steve Harvey can't go anywhere. Ricky Smiley can't go anywhere. I want to be able to go anywhere I want and stay under the radar. That's it. I just want to be successful. I want to get into film and movies, but I would do them, but I don't want to be like a Will Packer. I don't know if you know who Will Packer is. Will Packer is one of the biggest Black producers in Hollywood. But Will, in most of the movies he do, he put himself in a small role.
Right.
See, I would do that, a little quick role, but I'm behind the scenes.
Right.
That's my ultimate goal. Or I want to open up, I want to open up, but not just one, two. I want a chain of like comedy club or lounges.
Right.
And the reason I say that, Black comedy is the #1 form of entertainment across the nation.
Yeah. Right.
Comedy clubs, you see they open for years. Look at a comedy club. If you go online, go on any comedy club page and look through who they got booked all through the year.
Right.
75% of those acts are Black.
Right.
But nobody of color own too many comedy clubs.
Right.
It's like the NFL. Ain't no Black owners.
And no Black owners, right? Well, a few now.
Black players.
Yeah.
I just want to be the one to break the arrow. I done met a lot of people with a lot of money, and I know that's their money. I never get mad about nobody about their money. I would like to open up a chain of Black comedy clubs around the country.
Right.
And I would just like to do that because we have no Black chains.
Right.
You might have one here, one there, one there. But you have a whole lot of funny bones, a whole lot of improvs, a whole lot of comedy zones. But they book us. Don't get me wrong, they book me too. But we don't own none of them. We don't operate none of them. I want to do that. There are a lot of cities, there are no comedy clubs. I would like to go to those cities and open one because comedy, I learned one thing. Some people love jazz. Some love hip hop. Some love rock. Some love gospel music. But everybody
loves comedy.
Everybody loves to laugh. And it ain't big, it's not big on a name. It's big on, let's get out. That's a good date night. That's a good girls night. That's a good night for the fellas. Say, man, let me go see my man. My man coming to town. He's funny as hell. I like to do that. That's what I want to do. I want to open up a chain of comedy clubs. But like I said, I want to be like Dick Wolf, though. Nobody know who I am.
Right. Why do you think more comedians, why do you think they don't do it? Like all the big names, there's a lot of Black rich comedians. Why do you think no one's ever, done it themselves? I really think they won't do it.
Great question.
Mm-hmm. And I could be 100% wrong, but if you ask in my opinion, many of them have white agents,
right?
White or Jewish agents, white or Jewish management, and who own the comedy clubs are white or Jewish.
Right.
They don't even solve nothing that's going to affect the bottom line.
Right.
Because if you open up comedy clubs, you're not going to need us anymore.
Right.
Don't open up them. I get you more money you need. And a lot of brothers just don't want want to do the work.
Oh, yeah, because it's a lot of work.
My family own a restaurant, so that's all I know. I
Right.
started working in the elementary. So I know the food aspect. I'm an entertainer. I know the entertainment aspect. I'm a hellified. I don't think nobody can out promote me at my level. At my level, I don't think nobody can out promote me. So I'm a hellified promoter. So I got the 3 things that I need, I believe, that can make it successful. I really do. Because I will go to cities where there are none. That's one. And I would link with other comics. Hey, man, I own these 12 clubs now. I'm partners in these 12 clubs, these 15 clubs. I can book you too. You know, give me the same opportunity. And a lot of brothers, man just did a interview here, a comedy club owner in Atlanta. He said a lot of the big names are sick. Let me book them, then they cancel the last minute.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's another comedy club, like I always say one of the mainstream comedy clubs. They promised him 8 dates if he don't do his thing.
Right.
So and they always cancel on Wednesday. I don't know what it is about Wednesday. Always Wednesday. That's
Sounds like your club should be closed on Wednesdays.
No. They cancel you on Wednesday when you come in on that week. If I own a club and your first night is Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 2 shows Friday, 2 shows Saturday, 1 show Sunday, they cancel Wednesday. Now I got to scramble to find somebody else to fill your place within 24 hours.
Right.
And then number 2, I got to give all those refunds back.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think the mistake, and I've told a lot of black comedy club owners, I think the mistake is you went into a city where there were other comedy clubs under mainstream operations.
Right.
So they got the advantage on it. You know, they got too many of this there because you didn't know that. Why you go to a city where it's another comedy club? Go somewhere where it isn't. You can go to Maine. Now you can go like a New York where there's a vast population. You could do it.
Right.
You can go to Chicago where it's a big population. But you can't go to Macon, Georgia.
Right.
You know, you can't go to Augusta, Georgia where the population is small, where it's a comedy club already there.
Right.
And that's what I wouldn't do. But that's my dream, is to do that, because I know what the money comedy clubs generate. I know.
Right.
And the Miami Improv got so successful because of me.
Right. 100%.
Nobody of color went to the Miami Improv until I hosted. Nobody.
That's so true.
I missed that spot in the Grove.
Yes.
Yeah, me
And
too.
I'm
That was
one
the best.
propelled it.
That was the best.
And
Yeah,
people don't know this. The Miami Improv was the highest grossing comedy club in the country.
Man, I used to go there, bro. They used to get $500 out of me. Easy.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
man, you got to buy the two drink minimum. Then you got to eat.
Yeah.
And you're doing it for 2 people. So it's like, I was like, man, comedy expensive.
Yeah, it was the biggest one in the nation.
It was great.
Money-wise. And then from
Why'd they close down?
No, they opened another one.
In Doral. But
Yeah, I know they opened another one.
It's all right.
Why they closed the Miami? Because the Miami one would still do well.
Well, the man who owned the plaza sold the plaza.
Ah,
It's like the Hard Rock. When the Improv was inside the Hard Rock,
yeah,
and they shut it down to build a guitar hotel,
Yeah.
they moved to Dania Beach.
right.
So they moved, they just relocated. You know, that's all. But don't get it wrong, they got a lot of money to relocate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Yeah,
I don't think it
wow.
has the same vibes though. It's a cool spot, but
No.
I don't know. There was something about that Mayfair, you walking down into the thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
No, let me tell you something. What somebody told me, and this ain't the toot my own horn. They say, you know what those clubs are missing? You.
You got to
Say
get
you
back
were
to
the-
it.
that's what it is.
You were
That's what it's
right.
missing.
Say you were the host. When
Yeah.
they bring in celebrity actors and actresses in to host the night I used to host,
Right.
and they still don't get the same vibe, they wondering why. And I say, I'm from there.
Right.
And plus, I was a people's person. A lot of people act like you got to act like a politician in entertainment. You got to shake hand and kiss babies.
Right.
You can't come through the back door, do your show, go through the back door and leave.
Yeah.
There's no connection with you and the people.
Right.
You know, people want to connect. They want to vibe. It's like selling merchandise. People like a party. And when you selling t-shirts, that's why they buy them. You take a picture with them, that means so much to them. Because I always say, what I love about comedy the most, at that brief moment, I was a part of their day. I was a part of their day. They could be going through medical stuff. They could be going through issues. They could be going through mental, like I said, mental situations. They're on the verge of breaking down, and they came to that show and they laughed that night.
Right.
A lady came to me one night. She used to, remember the buddy passes on the airlines?
Yep.
Y'all remember the buddy passes?
Yeah.
She used to sell me buddy passes. I would buy them. And then she said, I hadn't seen her in a long time, maybe about 4 months. Then she came in there one day. She had her hair wrapped in a scarf, but I ain't think nothing of it. And she said, Marvin, here I got these buddy passes for you. It's about 20 of them. And I said, I can't buy all these because I ain't had the money to buy all them right then. She said, no, that's yours. That's my gift to you. I said, for real? For what? She said, I just want to bless you, man. I just appreciate what you've done. And then I didn't see her for a long time until a friend came in maybe 4 months later. And I said, well, I'm telling you, girl, I ain't see her no more. She gave me these buddy passes. She died of brain cancer.
Oh.
The doctors gave her 3 months to live, but she said she believed going to my show made her live another 18 months.
Wow.
For laughing. But she came and gave me them buddy passes. But I didn't know nothing was wrong with it because she always holds scarves on her head.
Right.
I didn't know that. And I was just like, man, that just did something. Then I thought about it. I didn't realize at that brief moment, I made her day. I didn't know what she was going through. But she came there. She said that laughter was just a medicine for her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I love this. I think
left you as a thank you too before she left.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had somebody tell me one day he wanted to thank me. A man told me, I didn't know him from Adam. He said, man, I was going to kill myself tonight. And I said, stop playing. He said, no, man, I'm serious, Mark. He said, I just gave up, man. But you did a joke by don't matter how broke you are, you better learn how to survive. And I did a joke talking about being broken, what you got to do instead of that. You want to wear this? No, instead of that. I just broke down everything that a broke person would do.
Yeah.
And he had a rough time. He lost his job, couldn't get another job. And his woman was on him. You need to do something else to do it. Called him out, names, said, you sorry, you this and that. And he was going to kill himself. And he didn't. And guess what? Some of you said, baby, he ended up getting the dream of all jobs that he wanted. He ended up getting that dream job.
Wow.
And he said, man, he said, you don't know, man. They called me. A guy called him and said, hey, man, you got your CDLs? He said, no, I ain't got them yet, man. I still need to go get some more hours. He said, go get the hours for now. My boss will hire you. You're going to ride with me until you get them. And then you got your own trucking route.
Always 3 feet from gold. I tell people all the time, you can't quit.
That's a great story.
We're so conditioned to think that we have to be successful at 30, at 33, at 35, this, that, and the other. And when you really look at people's success have really come like after 45, after 50, at 60. Like I know billionaires who became billionaires at 65 years old. And it didn't hit for them till 5 years before it happened.
Right.
They just did 60 years of constantly going till they get there. And like people, you just got to keep going till you get what you want. Just keep going.
Yeah. It doesn't matter if you're chasing it 1 year, 5 years, 10 years. It doesn't matter, right? Like you just, and I think that's like a beautiful theme for this. I know we're a little over 60 minutes. Want to kind of try and, start to wrap up a little bit here. And I think, Marvin, what you shared is amazing because with the stories you were just sharing, because really comedy does heal, right? It's a form of healing. It's a form
Marvin,
of...
you probably saved a lot of lives, Marvin.
Yeah, you're lifting people up, I mean, people need people, and that's the bottom line. And you are that, whether intentionally because someone's calling you, they're going through a hard time, or they're showing up and you're bringing them joy because you're shedding things in a different light in only the way that you can do. So I certainly hope that you do more hosting and you get those clubs going. And listen, you made a big fan in me today. Of course, I have heard of you before, but now I can say I'm definitely a big fan of Marvin. And so, so as we close out, we want to ask, I got a couple more questions for you. What are the top 3 ways that you change your mood or attitude to improve your mental health? at this point in your life, or when you're going through a hard time, like what are the top 3 go-to things for you right now?
I stay away from negativity. If somebody talking negative about somebody and they know that person, I always say, why are you telling me, man? Call them and tell them and everything.
That's a good one.
I call them and tell them.
Yeah.
See, I'm not gonna be your pal to, I ain't gonna amp you up or hype you up to dog this person out. No, talk to them.
Right.
Another thing that I do personally is I get out. I always tell people, get out and enjoy life. The worst thing to sit around the house and mope and moan, even if you're going through a bad time, through a rough time, or financial crisis, it's places you can go that's free to get in and sit there, enjoy the music, enjoy the company of other people, and converse with other people and have a good time. That's another thing. And I love live entertainment. Yeah. If I'm just having a bad day or just want to get out of feeling stressed, I would go to a comedy club amongst my peers and watch one of my fellow brothers and sisters perform. Right. And just laugh and enjoy stuff. Give me a smooth red wine and I'm good. A glass of red wine, I don't got no problems in the world. That's what I think. I don't stress myself over financial stuff. And the reason I always tell people, I don't stress myself because the most important 2 things you got on this planet is your health and your freedom. You got those 2, everything else is a blessing. Your health and your freedom supersede anything, because if it didn't, people wouldn't pay all that money to get out of jail.
Right.
Or people wouldn't pay all that money trying to get healthy again.
That's
So I just say I enjoy life. You got your health and your freedom. Everything else, don't worry about what nobody say about you. Don't worry about what nobody talk negative about you. I know it might affect you. Some people can't stand it, hurt it, but just ignore it, man, and keep it moving. Just go out and go to the people that love you or got love for you. That's all. Hang with the ones that got love for you.
Wow. Those are like the best tips. Man, those are really, really good ones. I never thought of finances that way before, but I will sure be sharing that with people moving forward, because I think it's true. Like, you got the money, but then you're spending it for all these other intangible things that you ain't got this, or like, what are like the real riches in life, right? So I love that so much. So tell us, how can people connect with you? Where can they see you? All the good stuff.
The next show, y'all in South Florida, right?
Yes. We're all in Miami.
Well, my next show in South Florida is March 29th at the Lauderhill Performing Arts Center. It's called Lauderhill Live.
Okay.
And I got this thing where I'm hosting. I got 3 funny headliners, comedian by the name of Double D, young lady by Shima Franklin, and Steve Brown. They're performing, and then we're adding something special to it. It's called Lyrics and Laughs. Those the laughs. The lyrics gonna be R&B sensation Tank performing.
Okay. Wow.
Nice.
So I got that March 29th.
What's your social media? What's your platform? Social media platforms, so your audience can follow you.
I'm old school. Just follow me on Instagram. That's a little easier to me.
Old school. That's old school now.
That's old school now. All that Snapchat and all that. Instagram at The Real Marvin Dixon. At The Real Marvin Dixon. And Dixon is spelled Dixon. Follow me, man. I would surely follow you all back.
Appreciate it. Marvin, do one quick question. When comedians go to these comedy clubs, do you guys get in free, or they make you pay at the door?
Most of them show us, like me personally, they let me in free.
Right. You show, hey, Marv, what's up, man? Come on in. Because they think you may perform.
No, but I always call.
Okay.
That's just a respect thing. Hey, man, I don't know if it's okay for me to fall through. Because I don't know if the show's sold out if they don't have receipts. I don't know the deal where they got the comedians. Like Dave Chappelle, nobody gets in free unless he okay it.
Right.
Or the club got to pay for that person here, because he get paid per head.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I would call Dave Chappelle himself. Hey, man, is it okay if I come through the show? So it's like, that's what I would do. I always call and make arrangements. Some clubs, they just show me courtesy and let me in. Like Improv always show me love and let me in. But I still call. That's just a respect thing. I call to ask them, is it okay if I come through?
So different comedians, based on how their fame, how famous they are, some get paid by the amount of people that show up, and then some they just pay to come.
Yeah, that's some of them do door deals. Like Chris Rock, Dave Chappelle, Kevin Hart. They'll do a door deal if they go in the comedy club because they're working out new material. They can tell them charge this much, but shows like Dave Chappelle was in Atlanta last week. Show sold out in about 20 minutes, all shows.
Right.
Wow.
He did like 7 shows. They sold out in 15, 20 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah,
people-
150 bucks per show.
Yeah.
Wow. 150 bucks per show.
Yeah.
And he gets all that money.
Oh, the club doesn't take any of it?
No, they make money. Now, some comics occurs when they do this. Take out what you pay for advertisement
Yeah.
and promotion. And whatever my hotel expenses was, take all that out.
Right.
Now I get the rest of the door and you get the bar and food.
I got you.
So that's how it works.
That's why there's a 2-drink minimum, Robert.
Yep.
Yeah, well, it's really a 2-item minimum.
Oh.
Yeah.
People think it's 2 because they can't force you to drink 2 drinks.
Right.
Well, it says on the menus when you sit down, 2-drink minimum.
Yeah, but I think that could be like water or soda or like
Nah.
just something you're paying for. No, you don't have to pay for alcohol. They don't make you order alcohol.
Yeah, but they charge you on your bill.
Yeah,
I
no,
got you.
they'll charge you for 2 sodas or 2 bottled waters.
Lord,
I
I
think.
got you. I got you.
Yeah.
I got
$8
you.
water.
Yeah, that's the other part of it. But that's why you get in free.
Go ahead,
Sometimes.
Yeah, when they give you the comp tickets, you definitely got to get something to drink and eat.
Oh,
Then you gotta buy all that stuff for sure. Well, Marvin, thank you so much again for being here. You know, we learned so much. Hope to catch you out when you're here on March 29th. Everyone go check that out and check him out on Instagram. Make sure you're following along. Thank you again for everything that you shared with us today. We always like to remind everybody, if you're struggling with your mental health, it's an emergency, dial 911. If you're in a crisis situation, use the 988 Crisis Prevention Suicide Line. And of course, we also have kennedykids.org. You can hop over there, click on that resources tab, and we have a ton of resources there available for you. So Marvin, thank you once again. You were absolutely amazing, and really, really appreciate your time.
No, I appreciate you all. Y'all enjoy
Great
it.
job, Barb. We love you.